I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
This is Snowman in the Morning, and it begins now.
Did you not get the memo? I'm the juggernaut, bitch!
Excellent.
Circus, Afro circus, Afro circus, Afro, polka dot, Afro.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Holy smokes, you'll need booze.
That's terrible.
Good morning, people. Happy Memorial Day, as we remember those who have fallen while serving to protect the freedoms of this wonderful country. And I thought it would be appropriate to start today's show with the playing of the National Anthem. And that National Anthem, the version that you heard, was done by the world-famous Laker Band, Los Angeles Laker Band. I just happened to have that, and I figured this would be a great way to start Snowman in the Morning on this Memorial Day Express edition as we wrap up the Indy 500, and then we'll break down a preview of Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Today's episode, as all of our programming is, brought to you in part by Cleaver Supplements, pure supplements for when genetics are just not enough. Also, the swag store is open. Go to arenasportsnet.com. Click on Swag Store. You'll see all kinds of great stuff. T-shirts, mugs, got some totes in the works, got a few more items in the works, some sweatshirts, all kinds of good stuff. So support us, and you can also support us by becoming a monthly subscriber to Arena Sportsnet. You'll get access to exclusive material, audio. We're working on some video as well, some behind-the-scenes work of how we set up our broadcast, all kinds of good things. You can subscribe for as low as $5 a month. That serves the purpose of helping us stay on air, helping us to keep going, and give you, the fans, an inside look of everything that's going on with Arena Sportsnet. All right, let's get down to it, shall we? Before I get to the Indy 500, over the weekend, you heard our play-by-play call of Simeon versus Brooks in the Brooks Regional Championship, and it was all Simeon by a final of 12-0. And I had a chance to meet a young fellow by the name, I forgot his name. Oops. And I had my notes in front of me, and I didn't take a look at it. His name is Stephen Ramsey. Folks call him Spoon Ramsey. Had a chance to meet him and his wife and had a great conversation. They are the owners and proprietors of Urban Fieldhouse Media. So Arena Sportsnet and Urban Fieldhouse Media is going to do some collaborations with them. We're working on a deal, and that's all I will say to this point. So to Stephen Ramsey and his wife Donna, bearing the name of my dear departed little girl, thank you both for our conversation on Saturday. I'm looking forward to working with you. And congratulations to Dennis Butler and the Simeon Wolverines winning the regional championship. They'll be in action Wednesday at St. Ignatius. We'll have it for you beginning at 4:30. Now, who the hell is Takuma Sato? Well, if you watched the race yesterday, the Indianapolis 500, he is the one that has kissed the bricks and took a milk shower. He is the winner of the Indianapolis 500, holding off a charging field on Sunday and walking off with his first victory at Indianapolis Speedway in IndyCar's premier race. Helio Castrovenis finished second. Ed Jones, Max Chilton, and Tony Kanaan rounded out the top 5. 6 through 10, Juan Pablo Montoya, Alexander Rossi, Marco Andretti, Gabi Chavez, and Carlos Munoz. They round out the top 10. This is the third Berg Warner Trophy for Andretti Autosport in the last 4 years, with Ryan Hunter-Reay and Alexander Rossi in 14 and 16 taking home the trophy. I'll tell you what, yesterday at the Indy 500, a lot of crashes. You kind of expect that with that kind of a race. But Scott Dixon ended his afternoon ended early. Scott Dixon sat on the pole and was the favorite to win. He crashed into Jay Howard around the quarter mark of the race. Howard had lost control of his vehicle and slammed into the outside retaining wall and ricocheted into Dixon's car and sent Dixon airborne into the inside of the retaining wall. About the 55 lap mark is where that happened, and it led to an extended red flag. But the great news is Dixon and Howard were able to walk away unharmed. And I'm so happy that both of them walked away unharmed. Some of the tweets that I took a peek at yesterday from Zach Kiefer. Follow him at Z Kiefer. Dixon went airborne and his car is in pieces. Absolutely amazing. He's able to walk away from that. Jeff Gluck. Follow him at Jeff, JEFF_Gluck, GLUCK. Tweets, oh no, serious crash here at Indy. Scott Dixon and Jay Howard. And Dixon is out. Huge sigh of relief in Media Center on that one. Well, Ryan Hunter-Reay thought he was going to pick up his second victory, but his engine failed. He led 28 laps before he started smoking up at lap 137, and the race was briefly yellow flagged after Hunter-Reay, was stopped on the track. But our congratulations to Takuma Sato, the winner of yesterday's Indy 500. We're just getting started here on Snowman in the Morning. The Express Edition will come back and we'll preview the main event for this Memorial Day. It's Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Nashville Predators and the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins trying to repeat, and Nashville trying to finish off an upset story for the ages. I'll give you a quick breakdown, and we'll wrap it up. Snowman in the Morning, the Express Edition on this Memorial Day continues in a deuce.
What are all the things you witness online in a day? Cats playing piano, selfies on your feed, your friend's picture being turned into a nasty meme that's been shared 50 times, 51, 52. When someone's being bullied online, it's hard to know what to do. Now you can speak up with the witness emoji. It looks like an eye in a speech bubble, and it's in the symbol section near the clocks in your phone. You'll let the world know it isn't cool, and you'll let your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
I want to thank my mommy for loving me so much,
for taking me to the doctor when I broke my foot,
for leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone.
And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear mom, for taking you to your therapies, for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing. That's why AARP gives you the information to provide even better care for your loved one. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
It's the geometry teacher who mans the ticket window.
It's the kid in grade school who paints her face blue and white before every home game.
It's the accountants and salesmen and store managers who give up their Friday evenings to referee.
It's the graduate who listens to the league championship game on the internet.
It's the parent who sells ads in the school athletic program.
It's the cashier at the corner convenience store who wears school colors on every game day.
It's the trainers, equipment managers, and ball boys who never miss a practice.
What makes high school sports here in Illinois so special? They do.
You do.
We all do.
High school sports. It's the we that every community needs. This message presented by the Illinois High School Association and the Illinois Athletic Directors Association.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Hello, baby.
Bazinga.
Excellent.
We're back. The Memorial Day edition of Snowman in the Morning. I beg your pardon. I got a little ahead of myself. Presented by Cleaver Supplements. Pure supplements for when genetics are just not enough. Stanley Cup final preview, and then we're going to wrap it up here on this Express edition. It's the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Nashville Predators. My buddy Michael Green, who is one of our hockey insiders, said the Predators were a dangerous team. I didn't think that to be true when they were facing the top-seeded Blackhawks in the Western Conference playoffs, but when you hold a high-scoring team like the Blackhawks scoreless in 2 home games in the United Center, you're on to something. And then the Hawks finally took a 2-0 lead in Game 3, only to have Nashville rally and win it in overtime. Nashville was ready. The Blackhawks were not, and that's why Nashville is in the Stanley Cup final. Good luck to both teams. Take a look at a few storylines, and I'm getting some help here from Dan Rosen of NHL.com. We'll look at a couple of storylines. The first one is real simple. The Penguins are trying for a repeat and trying to do it for the first time since 1998 when the Detroit Red Wings did it. They're trying to become the first, the Penguins, I should say, are the first team to reach the Stanley Cup final in back-to-back years since 2009 when they eliminated and beat the Detroit Red Wings 2-1 at Joe Louis Arena, ending Detroit's repeat chances. And if y'all remember that Game 7 at Joe Louis Arena, if this series is anything like that, this is going to be a fantastic series. There have been 15 back-to-back Stanley Cup winners since 1927, when only NHL teams started competing for the Cup. 3, including the 2009 Red Wings, have reached the final a second straight year, but failed to repeat since 98 when the Red Wings did it after they eliminated the Washington Capitals. Stars got back to the Cup in 2000 after winning it in 1999, but lost to the New Jersey Devils in 6 games. Devils got back to the final in 2001, but lost to the Colorado Avalanche in 7 games. The Predators are in their first ever Stanley Cup final, and they can become the NHL's second first-time Stanley Cup champion in the past 10 seasons. Last team to do that, the Los Angeles Kings were first-time champions in 2012, before winning it again in 2014. The Preds can also become the third of the 9 expansion teams since 91 to win the Stanley Cup. That list includes the Tampa Bay Lightning in 2004, won it in their first appearance. Anaheim Ducks in 2007, won it in their second appearance after losing to the Devils in 2003. And this series also represents the first time that 2 United States-born coaches will hook up and go head-to-head in the final. Peter Laviolette of the Preds, who won the Cup with the Hurricanes in 2006, and Mike Sullivan are both from Massachusetts and are already among the 6 U.S.-born coaches who have won the Cup. One of them will become the first to win it twice. The other U.S.-born coaches to win the Cup, Bill Stewart with the Blackhawks in 1938, Bob Johnson of the Penguins in 1991. Y'all remember that team. Super Mario, Yarmer, Yager, Tom Barrasso, and net. Y'all remember that team, don't you? John Tortorella of the Tampa Bay Lightning in 2004, and Dan Bylsma of the Penguins in 2009. Well, this is the first trip to the Stanley Cup Final for David Pauley, the Predators GM, in his 45 years in the NHL, including the past 33 as a general manager. His first with the Washington Capitals, he was first a general manager with the Washington Capitals in 82, got my notes wrong here, and the past 20 years with the Predators. He started in the NHL as an executive with the Atlanta Flames in 1972. The Pauley name is already engraved on the Stanley Cup, as Pauley's father, Bud, won it as a player with the Toronto Maple Leafs in 1947. Sidney Crosby and eventually Malkin trying to surpass legends, as they have a chance to do something that Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr never did. That's win the cup for a third time. How's that for a storyline? And if they're able to do it, then they become big-time legends in Pittsburgh. Now, the Nashville Predators, first-time appearance in the Stanley Cup Finals, and what I love about that is that the whole city of Nashville got behind them the further they went into the playoffs. Now, a lot of people don't want to see the Predators win it, and there's some people that do. But think about how a whole city has come together in Nashville to get behind these Predators. Only problem? They're facing the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Pittsburgh Penguins, which is scary in and of itself. And I will give you the X Factor, who I believe is going to be the X Factor in the Stanley Cup Finals. And that X Factor is Pekka Rinne, the Nashville goaltender. As I mentioned at the top of this segment, he shut out the Blackhawks twice. Matter of fact, 3 times in the opening round series. 2 of them were in Chicago. For the regular season, he's got a 2.42 goals against and has saved almost 92% of the shots that came against him. Let me say that again. He shut out the high-scoring Blackhawks 3 times. 3 times. He's definitely going to be one of the X factors for the Nashville Predators. If I were to make a prediction, and I'm going to, as much as I love the story about the Predators getting to the final, too much experience will help Pittsburgh. But I wouldn't be surprised if it goes the distance. I'll say Penguins in 7, which means the Penguins, like they did in 2009, will have to do it on the road. This is going to be a fantastic Stanley Cup final. Take a pause for a break. When we come back, you'll hear a classic interview. Just thought of this idea. Then we'll wrap it up. Snowman in the morning, back in the deuce.
Let's talk about the X's and O's of family entertainment. Every parent in Illinois knows the importance of being able to draw up an activity that'll get you out of the house for a couple of hours. But it needs to be affordable. It needs to be family-friendly. Above all, it needs to be fun. Now, let's talk about high school sports. Bang for your buck, school sports provide the perfect game plan for your family. You'll enjoy all of the drama and excitement competitive sports offer. You'll be supporting the future leaders of our community in a meaningful way. Best of all, you can take the entire family without breaking the bank. Heck, you won't even dent it. Now, enough chalk talk. Let's get out there and see what's playing at the high school in your community. School sports. Good for our kids, good for our community. This message presented by the Illinois High School Association and the Illinois Athletic Directors Association.
Adopt U.S. Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hey, y'all. It's time for the SITM Classic Interview. With me right now is a fellow I have been waiting to have on the show. I remember seeing him in the WWE. He is a UFC legend and a Hall of Famer, and he is simply known as the Beast. Dan Severn is on the Verizon Wireless Hotline. Good morning, sir.
What's happening there, Brian?
How are you, my friend? Good to talk to you.
Well, same here.
Dan the Beast Severn joining us here. What got you? I'm reading this incredible bio of yours, and like I said, I remember you from your appearances in WWE. But my first question to you is, what got you started in? What led you to start in UFC?
Well, I tell you what, Brian, if I could sing or dance, I would have been doing something else. But I'll simply say that just through kind of a series of unfortunate circumstances, it led me to a chapter in my book that I simply plan on entitling "New Found Skills."
Wow.
Because you talk to a guy that's never been in a fight in their entire life, yet they'll still even show some of my clips even nowadays because of some of the things I did to another individual in the name of competition.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always had that same type of intensity most of my athletic career, but in the sport of amateur wrestling. And it just kind of transitioned over into the crazy world of cage fighting. I say it like that because most of your listeners, they're used to the terms mixed martial arts.
Right.
But the product that they watch today, mixed martial arts, it has approximately 37 rules.
Mm-hmm.
And part of those 37 rules, there's weight classes, there's time periods known as rounds. Athletes wear gloves, and they compete against one opponent in a given evening. And they know about their opponent, probably 4-6 months out.
Right.
Whereas back in that NHB, otherwise known as No Holds Barred era, the athletes had to abide by two basic rules. That being, do not bite your opponent. And rule number 2, no sticking any fingers in the eyes.
Right.
No eye gouging.
No
Into
eye
the
gouging.
rules. So anything that your imagination could come up with there, Brian, you were good to go. No weight class.
Yeah, and no holds barred. And no holds barred either.
And at the 8-man tournament, you had to face and defeat 3 opponents in the same 2-hour pay-per-view that still runs to this day.
Wow.
So most Americans are very, very forgetful. It's like yesterday's news. That's how quickly it's forgotten. Why? I go north to Canada, I go south to Mexico, and more people will know about me there in my own home country, just because we are such a throwaway, forgetful society. I don't understand that, but I just know that's what it is here.
Well, why do you think the changes happened, and why do you think the changes came so swiftly?
Well, the changes that.
Dan, you still with me? Oh, no, I lost him. Well, that was Dan the Beast Severn. Something went wrong. Oh boy, I think we lost him. I think we lost him, folks. I'm so sorry. I think something pardon me. I think something happened on his end and we lost the beast, man. Dadgummit. Oh, well. It was a great conversation. It was a great conversation for when we had him. Let's see if we can get him back on the line here. I apologize for this, folks. I think one of us suffered a bad connection. And okay. I think I have him back. Dan, you back with me?
Actually, I was on my landline. I could hear you guys perfectly, and for some reason you couldn't hear me. I'm thinking, I called you back on my cell phone. I was thinking of all things. My landline should have worked, and my cell phone would be the thing that would drop there.
Gotta love technology in the 21st century.
Oh, I tell you what, people have become so reliant upon you. I'm waiting for the big power Friday just to see people just wander around aimlessly, not knowing what to do with themselves. Us primitive souls like myself will do just fine.
Yeah, you and I will be fine. It's the rest of the world that has to go without technology and wondering what they're going to do. Like you said, wandering around like lost souls, wondering what to do next. Dan the Beast Severn here on the hotline with me. We apologize for the technical glitch. And the question that I had posed to him when he was telling me about the difference between when he got into UFC and the way things are today, why do you think the changes, or let me change my question, what do you think brought the changes about?
Well, it was pressure from athletic commissioners, politicians, legislators. John McCain was one of the biggest advocators trying to do away and this human cockfighting, decline of civilization product altogether. So it had to make compromises. And I was making the comment that Bob Meyer was the second ownership of the Ultimate Fighting Championship company, and he probably owned it at the worst time when he was taking the brunt of things. And, but it has morphed into what it is today. And I there will be even a couple more changes to the rules here probably in the next, say, 3 to 5 years. I think that the elbow will eventually be taken out altogether because of the cutting mechanism that it has with it. A lot of players they throw elbow just perfectly. It'll strike you right above the eyebrow there, and it'll cut you wide open, and the blood will then blur your vision. So where the guy would be able to fight normally, but because of his blurred vision, he can't really see that well.
What led you to cross over into the, and I still say it this way, what led you to cross over into the World Wrestling Federation?
Well, no, it was just the opposite. See, my career, my first profession was black hero of professional wrestling, as I refer to that.
Yes, wrestling.
Yeah. As of the 1992 Olympics, a rule from the United States Olympic Committee that athletes professional simultaneously, as long as you were not involved in any kind of high school athletics program or a program. I was past my eligibility, so I could have my cake and eat it too. I had been approached by some independent professionals and companies through the mid-'80s, but I did not turn pro at that time just because of the eligibility. My amateur career meant too much to me at that point, but when 92 hit, I jumped into it. About as full tilt as one could. I mean, I was still doing amateur wrestling same as coaching duties, things of that nature, and then training professional wrestling and started doing matches. And then by 1994, this crazy cage fighting thing came along, and I ended up jumping into that, had a dual career. I mean, when I tell people that sometimes I would be on the road for 20-some-odd days a month, I mean, that was legit. And during the course of that month, I may do 2 or 3 cage bouts, no-hold-barred bouts, on top of doing another 6 to 8 professional wrestling matches on top of doing all the other stuff I did with law enforcement, corrections, and military, and things of that nature. So I've had, when people see me, I'm over at school, I walk around with a little black planner, and they see it like, you can put that into your cell phone. I go, that's true, but if I drop my cell phone, I'm screwed. Works. I could spill my cup of coffee on my planner and it still works, but my cell phone won't. I go, so you may call it old school, but I think it's quite a advanced piece of equipment myself.
You know what? When Dean sends me my guests, I write them all down plus the times. I don't even try to use my my tablet to plan everything out, because just like you, I'm afraid if I spill anything on it, especially my big cup of water that I have in front of me, I'm done for.
Yep, nope, same here. That's my life in a nutshell. I've been working on the planner, I think, since my junior year in high school. That's the kind of crazy schedule I've kept myself on for these decades.
How do you manage such a? I've been asked this a lot with my play-by-play schedule. How do you manage such a crazy schedule? Does it get tough at times?
Oh, sure it does. I mean, there's been mornings when I've woken up and as I'm shaking out the cobwebs, I actually have to look at my planner to figure out, well, first off, where am I at, and what is my function today? I mean, because there's times when I'm an original road warrior. I do a lot of driving gigs only because there's no way I could really make the airlines, the rental cars, and stuff line up as well as what I could do. I just leaving my residence with my vehicle in the first place. How much more stuff I can carry with me? How many more parts? I mean, it's an interesting thing that happened to me just less than 60 days ago. Here I am. I drive to the airport, and I have 3 or 4 different suitcases and stuff in it. And I go off on the one trip for 2-3 days, driving out back, go to my vehicle, change out some stuff from one suitcase to the other suitcase, grab another bag, and then I never left the airport. I just went right back into another terminal, got on another plane, flew off, came back, and they did that same thing. I go, how many people? I mean, literally, it's kind of like I almost felt like a vagrant.
Right.
I'm like a street urchin there, just going in, changing out some clothes until you had another bag, and just going off and doing another thing.
That was the tail end of my basketball schedule. I know, because every Saturday in March I was in a different place, and it wound up in Indianapolis this past Saturday. Dan the Beast Severin joining us on the Verizon Wireless Hotline. Again, we apologize to the fans for just a bit of a technical glitch, and we shared a laugh about it. I had Mike Granahan on the show yesterday, and he said something that kind of got me laughing, and now I'm curious about it. You do a little comedy as well.
Think of Mike Granahan. I think he might be the illegitimate child of Bobby the Brain Eaton myself. I mean, this guy just never. I'm always thoroughly entertained by him all the time. I mean, he comes up with some pretty good ideas.
Yes.
Pretty far out there ideas at times, but I got to admit, I'm always entertained.
How did you start or get to working in comedy as well? Because you got that on your resume.
I don't know. I mean, if anyone ever saw me, just in my mode of competition, I mean, I still scare people today. I was actually just at a mixed martial arts expo just 2 weeks ago, and I saw a couple of gentlemen, out of the corner of my eye, they were just kind of talking, and they're kind of pointing out towards me. And I looked over towards them. I mean, both the heads turned away. It's kind of like they didn't even want to make eye contact with me. And I finally invited them over. They're like, well, we were a little intimidated. I go, that's just part of putting on your game face and going out there and competing. Even the very first time, my very first UFC experience ever, I climbed into the cage. I've had this ongoing relationship there with Big John McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his routine down. He talks, again, back in that old bar era, and I'm pretty sure it's probably still today. He talks to you, the athletes, first.
Yes.
And then he just talks about this, and this, and then he always finishes up with, are there any questions? And then he turns from you, and he talks to the corner person. So he goes through his spiel, gets to the end, are there any questions? I don't think of nothing. And as he turned and started to look away, I just blurted out of my mouth. I just simply said, where did all that money go that my parents paid for piano lessons? And he said he heard it, but when he looked back at me, he goes, it couldn't come from me because I had my game face on. And the second time, he comes up there and does, the second match, he does the same thing. Are there questions? I said, I said, I wouldn't be doing this if you would just give me the winning lotto ticket number. And he couldn't believe that I'm pulling off these one-liners just before engaging in a no-holds-barred match. And his wife, Elaine, was the travel coordinator for the event, and then first he starts sharing with her. He goes, I think this guy's mentally right, stuff like that, and going off his days. But then they get to know me, and I go out to dinner with them and the family and the whole 9 yards, and I get the point that Elaine had put a couple of words with me. That she started giving me a couple of some dirt on John, and literally I would be in the middle of a match, fighting one dude and carrying on a conversation with John. And he's like, he says, Dan, he goes, you are the most dangerous guy out here. He says, you're just farting around, having a good old time competing because he knows, I don't call myself a fighter. Just like I said to you guys, I've never been in a fight in my entire life.
Right.
Now, I've been a competitor.
Yes.
My entire life. Now, I understand rules and regulations, and wrestling has a lot of rules and regulations into it. And to be involved in this cage fighting industry when it was morphing from the no-holds-barred era into the mixed martial arts product that it is today. It's the unified rules are what are followed across the entire United States, across the world. But when it was going through that transition, I would be in whatever state, and I'd be in the middle of a match, and I'm thinking, gosh, I'm not sure if I can do this. And I look up at the referee. I go, hey, ref, can I? So here I'm definitely tipping my hand to my opponent, what I'm about to do to them. But at the same token, they couldn't stop me either. It was just kind of funny. I mean, it's to started the cage fighting career at the age. I defied the age barriers. I mean, I was just before turning 37 years of age back in 1994 when I stepped into my cage for my very first time. And to have done it for as many years as I did it for. My final, I retired as of January 2013. Mm-hmm. In my final year, giving up 3 decades of age. Now, there's only really one company that I'm aware of, really, and that is the UFC that actually does drug testing policies. So when you work on these independent scenes on the pro level, none of these guys have been tested. And, I pride myself in the fact that I'm lifetime chemical free. I've achieved all my success on my own ability. Kind of the sad part to that is I've already outlived 5 of my cage fighting opponents. And I have outlived, I'll bet, over 25 to 30 of my professional wrestling partners, and none of them were older than me. That's sad.
That's also a tribute to you. And like you, I enjoy being chemical-free myself. Dan the Beast Severn, a delightful conversation. He appears via the Verizon Wireless Hotline, presented by the Cellular Connection of Michigan City, proud to get you connected to America's most trusted 4G LTE. My friend, thank you so very much. I'd love to have you on again in the future.
Well, yeah, so you can bring me on anytime to Brian, and we'll just jump into another episode of whatever is going on in my wacky world. Because rest assured, even though I've retired from one industry, I have not retired in life. I'm probably busier now than I have been previously. So the old planner will continue to ride for at least, my prediction is another 8 years. Is what my goal.
That is wonderful. Thank you, Dan. Delightful conversation. Thank you for coming on. Much appreciated.
Take care, guys.
You may think that performance-enhancing drugs can help you hit the ball harder, help you throw the ball farther, make you bigger, stronger, faster, and more attractive to scouts. But performance-enhancing drugs won't make you a champion. To do that, you have to challenge yourself. At the Illinois High School Association, we're committed to making sure that today's high school athletes understand the dangers of using performance-enhancing drugs. This message is brought to you by the Illinois High School Association, inviting student-athletes, parents, and fans alike to challenge yourself and help bring out the best in our high schools and communities.
I wasn't prepared to be a caregiver to Mom. I had no idea how hard it would be and what I would need to know. Things I never thought of, like how to improve her mood and ways for me to stay positive. Luckily, I found the Caregiving Resource Center from AARP. It had articles about the basics, but also information about the hurdles I was facing. Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving. Articles, tips, and tools to help you both care for your loved one and care for yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What are all the things you witness online in a day? Cats playing piano, selfies on your feed, your friend's picture being turned into a nasty meme that's been shared 50 times, 51, 52. When someone's being bullied online, it's hard to know what to do. Now you can speak up with the witness emoji. It looks like an eye in a speech bubble, and it's in the symbol section near the clocks in your phone. You'll let the world know it isn't cool, and you'll let your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Down!
Finish him. I had to dig through the classic files to find that one. And if you notice, I'm running the classic interviews we did in 2015 when one of my former producers was with us. But they deserve a little bit of airtime, so I'm digging them all out of the crates, and you'll hear them throughout the course of this run of Snowman in the Morning. This week, Michael Green will join me. We'll wrap up Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. You'll hear a preview of the NBA Finals. That will be Wednesday, as Game 1 will come Thursday. But I got a little tidbit on Kevin Durant that will come tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll wrap up Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. I have a what-if scenario involving Kevin Durant, James Harden, Serge Ibaka, and Russell Westbrook. And we'll talk a little baseball. Who's doing what, and why are the teams succeeding that they are? And how about those Colorado Rockies? How about that? What we're also going to do is we're going to start mixing in a scoreboard that will come at the top and bottom of each hour. So we'll get you keep you posted for that. Well, time to wrap this Express edition up, and it goes, my spoken word goes like this. Remember the folks who died for this country. Remember the folks who put their lives on the line for the freedoms that we have. So much has been put on, for lack of a better term, some petty stuff. Well, on a day like today and every day beyond today, remember the folks who laid their lives down for this country and why they did it. Remember the folks that laid their lives down, and just remember the good times that you had. If you lost someone due to service, just remember the good times. I know I say that a lot, and I'm guilty of remembering how I lost my dad and how I lost my granddad. But I got a sharp lesson yesterday. Just remember the good times. That will always get you through. And that'll do it for this express edition of Snowman in the Morning. We're presented by Cleaver Supplements. Be back tomorrow to talk some baseball, wrap up Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final, and a little bit of What If. New segment we're introducing to the show. Don't forget to visit the swag store. Go to arenasportsnet.com. Click on Swag Store. You'll see all the great items we got there. We got more coming. And also, you can become a subscriber to Arena Sportsnet for as low as $5 a month. Click on support, arenasportsnet.com/support to find out how. That'll do it. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my Memorial Day. Hope you do too. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Until then, have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, your dreams don't scare you. They are not big enough. Till tomorrow. Snowman out.